let's inshallah discuss this concept of, just remove this one for a while so you can see the heading first. Okay, so as you can see, the heading is Al-Ismul Mausool, relative pronoun. Now, what is it? A word such as that, which, who, which begins a relative clause. Inshallah, I'll explain all of them in a minute. So a word such as that, which, or who, which begins a relative clause. This relative clause describes the noun which came before it. Keep in mind this whole thing. Now, inshallah, everything will be clear after this example. Now, let me come to this example, inshallah, and it will be then clear. So, look at the example. The person who was with me yesterday is my employee. As you can see that I have underlined who was with me yesterday. Is that right? This who was with me yesterday is called a clause. Clause is sometime within the sentence, you get a part which conveys full meaning on its own, but it is the part of that sentence. It's called clause. That's what clause is, okay? Now, I said that a word such as that, which, and who. In this example, who is starting a clause. Is that right? Because this whole clause is starting with what? With who. Okay. And then second thing was, this clause describes the noun which came before it. In this example, the person is the noun which is being described by this clause. Now read the definition for yourself, inshallah, and ask me if it's not clear now. After the example, read again the description of Ism Mausool. Boys, I'm going to ask you questions at the end, so please keep paying attention, okay? Is this clear now? So now let's look at these last three lines. Who is the word which began the clause? Who was with me yesterday is the whole clause. And this clause is describing what? The person. Now you may be thinking, you just simply give the name of, for example, Ahmad was with me yesterday, the end of story. You know, why the whole thing? Sometime you need to tell the listener something which can help him to understand who you are talking about. And maybe that person has only this information about that guy, that he has seen that guy with you yesterday. That's all he knows. So basically, you are talking to someone and you give him a piece of information that can help him to understand that who you are talking about. And that information is dependent on what the listener knows about that guy. So you refer to that part.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be a person. It could be
Yeah, anything, yes, anything. You are right, anything. So basically, something comes in the start, then it is described by that clause. You are right, Brother Bulbari. So now let me, inshallah, if there's no question, let's move on then. Look at the labels of this kind of composition. The person who was with me yesterday is my employee. This was the whole sentence. Okay, now who will be labeled as Ismul Mausool? This part which initiate the clause, this part is called Ismul Mausool. Number two, was with me yesterday. This after the who part is called what? Sila. So Mausool and Sila with Swad, Lam and Ta marbuta, Sila. So you will say who is the Mausool, and with me yesterday is the Sila. Mausool and Sila together is called Jumlatul Mausoola. Ask me if there's anything not clear to any one of you regarding this slide. Inshallah, I'll show you the example as well in a minute, but just want to make sure this thing first.
So Jumlatul Mausoola mean clause.
Yes, exactly. That inner clause, because that Jumlatul Mausoola is a complete Jumla on its own as well, but it is part of the Jumla.
Yep. Clear.
So now let's look at Next slide. Let me just move this one here. Okay, now you can see clearly. Types of Asmaul Mausula. There are two types. One is called special Asmaul Mausula. Special. What are those? These are the ones you read in the Quran day in, day out. Allazi is singular, masculine. Its pair is Allazani. And its plural is Allazina. Allati is singular, feminine. Allatani, feminine, pair. Allati. Now, as you can see, if you remember the Quranic ayah, whatever you know, most commonly you just see these two, Allazi and Allazina. Rest of them are very rare. For example, when Allah talks about the Zani and the other guy, say Allah Zani Yati Huma. Then he talks about to Allah Zani. But mostly you see Allazi and Allazina. Now, what it means, by the way. Okay, look at this one. Allazi means the one who. Allati mean the one who. The difference is it is masculine, it is feminine. So Allazi mean the one who. Allati mean the one who, female. Allazani, in translation, those who, but they are two in number. And likewise, Allatani is those who. And Allazina, those who. Allati, those who. But we know grammatically they are feminine and masculine. Now, these are called special small Mausula, and these are called common ones. The common Asma Mausula, and the most used are these two, ma and man. Why there is not min? Okay, min is a preposition. Man. Man zallazi yukridullaha qardan hasana. That man. Man ya'mal salihan. That man. Okay, so man mean who, and ma. Now you may be thinking, I have learned one kind of ma which means not. For example, khalaka, he created. Ma khalaka, he did not create. But sometimes you say, Kul a'udhu bi rabbil falak min sharri ma khalaka. Min sharri ma khalaka. This time this ma is not, he did not. This time this ma is what he created. Now you may be thinking that what is the way for me to distinguish the ma of negation from the ma of Mausula? My answer is, I don't know. Okay. And the reason is, this will come with vocabulary. For example, look at this one. If you look at Surah Falak, Kul a'udhu bi rabbil falak. Say, I seek refuge of the Rabb of Falak. Min sharri ma khalaq. From the shar of ma khalaka. Whatever he created. If you say from the shar of, he did not create, it does not make any sense. So you have to say from the shar of what he created. So it comes with the vocabulary. I personally, I went to different books to find something to give it to you, so you can know just by sight, but I have not found so far. Inshallah, I have not given up. Inshallah, I will keep looking for you. But one answer for now is, if you will have a ma of Mausula and you try to translate it as ma of negation, you will see clearly that translation is not making any sense. As in the example of Surah Falak. You can try inshallah today just to make sense of this, what I'm saying. So ma and man are called a small Mausula, and they are common a small Mausula, and this Allazi, Allazani are the specific ones, Maqsus. Is clear? Now let's look at how it is working in the text of the Quran. Look at this example. Allahu allazi khalaqa as-samawati wal arda. Now, Allazi, is that right? In this example, you can clearly see before Allazi you get Allahu. Is that right? We mean Allahu is that object which is being described by the clause Allazi khalaqa as-samawati wal arda, which means Allazi will be called Ismul Mausool. Okay. Khalaqa as-samawati wal arda, complete jumlatul failiya. By the way, khalaqa fail madi, khalaqa word, created word, as-samawati first maf'ul, wal arda second maf'ul. So these are two maf'ul, by the way, and khalaqa is fail madi, which means khalaqa as-samawati wal arda is a complete jumla. Please pay attention. Allazi is Ism Mausool, Khalaqa samawati wal arda, the complete jumla is sila. Allazi, Mausool, and the whole jumla sila together is jumlatul Mausoola. For who? For Allahu. You said Allah, the one who created the heaven and the earth. Yet you have not given any information yet. You can see clearly. You just introduce to the listener that who is Allah. After this, you will give the information. But so far, within this thing, you can see you have got already a jumlatul failure. One more example. Yeah. Arda. Let me remove this arda. Because it's mafool. Mafool has to be in nasab status. You might be thinking about as-samawati. It is plural. As-samawati. Yeah, ati. Okay, ati could be nasab, ati could be jar. Yes, atun, atin, atin. Yes, both of them are. As-samawati is in nasab and wal arda is also in nasab. Okay, if nobody is talking from the online people, my assumption is inshallah you are with us on the same page. Okay, so let's inshallah look at one more example. Okay, look at this example. Innal lazina kafaru lan tughni anhum amwaluhum wala awladuhum min Allahi shay'a. The ayah continues. Okay, inna, inna. We know what is inna? Inna is from the list inna family. Okay, so inna will become mubtada. Whatever you got after inna will become your ism of inna. And allazina, you see, allazina will remain allazina because it is mabni. But you know as a student that in this case allazina is in nasab status. Why? Because of inna. Because always right after the inna, what do you get? A ism in nasab status. This allazina is playing that role, by the way. But our topic is not this. Our topic is about allazina. Okay. Now look at this one. Allazina is introducing that clause. So allazina will be ism mausool. Clear? Kafaru, by the way, kafaru, what is it? Ism fil harf. Ism, subhanallah, kafaru, brothers and sisters, kafaru. Kafara? Kafaru, fail madi, brothers, fail madi. Number 3 in the chart. Okay, kafaru. Because Brother Abdul Bari, it should be kafiruna. Okay, so for now we know that kafara is madi, kafara, then kafaru, kafarat, kafarata, kafarna, kafarta, kafartuma, kafartum, kafarti, kafartuma, kafartunna, kafartu, kafarna. Ma'azallah. Okay, so is this point clear now? So allazina is your ism mausool. Kafaru is a complete jumla failure on its own, because we all know every fail is a complete jumla. Why? Because kafaru has got both things. Is a fail and inside file which is whom. Okay, so kafaru has both things. Okay, this kafaru is becoming what here? Kafaru is becoming the sila. Allazina is mausool, is a mausool. Kafaru is the sila. Allazina kafaru together is a jumla mausula, and this whole jumla, by the way, is serving the purpose of ism of inna. It means obviously allazina kafaru is not ism now, but now the whole jumla is fi mahalli nasab. Why? Because ism of inna is a nasab. I just pronounced something which inshallah a bit advanced. Inshallah, don't worry about that. At this stage, just remember this much. Allazina is sila, kafaru is, allazina is a mausool, kafaru is the sila, allazina and kafaru together is jumla mausula. Just remember this much.